Hi,
You are
villains.
now
It was a
watching
very,
Between
very
Villains.
spicy news week. A lot of shit to talk about. Each piece of news is from all three of the big video game makers. So we have Nintendo, crazy news this week. PlayStation, insane news this week. And then we got Xbox with probably the most insane news this week. So as we get into it, if you enjoy this content, please just hit that like and sub button, turn the post notifications on, and let's see exactly what's going on. So PlayStation hit the news rounds this week. They actually closed one of their big studios down, which was Bluepoint Games. And Bluepoint basically was like specializing in making remakes. In actuality, they haven't missed yet because the games that they remade were already classics, and they took those games to like a whole another level. So if we talking about Shadow of the Colossus remake, and then we also talking about the Demon Souls remake, they came out two classic remakes and still were shut down. So we're gonna be pulling from GameSpot. So it says Sony shuts down Bluepoint Games, the dev behind consistently great remakes. Bluepoint Games, the developer behind 2020's Demon Souls remake, has reportedly been shut down, according to a Bluesky post by reporter Jason Schreier. A PlayStation spokesperson told Bloomberg that roughly 70 staff have been cut, with the studio's closure coming sometime in March. Bluepoint Games is an incredibly talented team, and their technical expertise has delivered exceptional experiences for the PlayStation community. Thank them for their passion, creativity, and craftsmanship. They were founded in Austin, Texas, 2006. They were an accomplished studio that Sony acquired in 2021. Said it hasn't even been a full 5 years. Like, that's the craziest part of this whole thing, right? They laid off 70 people at Bluepoint Games after acquiring them. Hasn't been a full 5 years yet. It goes on to say it was primarily known for remastering classic PlayStation games from God of War and Uncharted to Gravity Rush and Shadow of the Colossus. It really became a household name following the release of 2020's Demon Souls. Demon Souls looked fucking amazing. It probably looked like the best game out that year when it dropped. And just to see PlayStation kind of like, I don't want to say fumble, because obviously there's probably like financial reasons why they had to like shut the studio down and shit, but it's just wild to see how a studio could come out, make a bunch of great fucking games, right? Like, not one game was a miss. And obviously, since they're making remakes, all the remakes they're making are going to be something that fans want. So you would think, like, if anything, this studio would be safe, right? No matter what, because they're only going to be doing games that people want. The demand is going to be there, and still got shut down, guys. So that was very spicy. Bluepoint, we kind of were assuming that they were going to make the Bloodborne remake at some point. So that seems like it's going to be out the window. I don't know if From Software is going to step in for that, or if we're probably just never going to get that Bloodborne remake. But you guys let me know how y'all feel about that down below in the comment section. I know a lot of people are big fans of Bluepoint. See them go after 5 years, you know what I mean? Not even a full 5 years, but I think it's just wild. And man, just think of all the games that they could have remade from PlayStation's backlog, you know what I mean? Man, Bluepoint. But moving on to our next piece of news. So apparently Phil Spencer, my dog, my Xbox road dog, he is actually retiring from Microsoft and Xbox in general. So that was wild. But then to follow that up, Sarah Bond, who we long thought was going to be the person to like replace Phil Spencer once he retired, also resigned the same fucking day. So something's happening at Xbox. I don't know exactly what went into like the decision making of Phil Spencer retiring and then Sarah Bond resigning. I think the head of Microsoft's AI department is actually about to step into that role now. So we're gonna go ahead, pull up some news articles, see exactly what the fuck is going on. This shit kind of blew my mind because I thought we were on an upward trajectory with Xbox. You know what I mean? We have a lot of great games coming out this year. We got like Fable, Gears, hopefully, shit like that. And damn, man, Phil Spencer's out. So it says here that Phil Spencer announces that he's retiring from Xbox, a massive shakeup for Microsoft gaming. Phil Spencer has announced that he's retiring from Xbox, with the current president of Microsoft's core AI product, Asha Sharma, taking over for the longtime chief of Microsoft's gaming division. Phil Spencer stepped into the head of Xbox role back in 2014, following a long stint as the Xbox game studio boss. He then had a slight job change in and amongst the Activision Blizzard acquisition, where he was promoted to CEO of Microsoft Gaming. It's just wild because if you ever pay attention to like Xbox, any of their showcases, events, anything like that, Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond are usually the two people that you see the most, right? They take the most of the flack, they talk the most, and they kind of became synonymous with Xbox and Xbox Game Pass. So they were like, remember how Reggie Fils-Aimé was for Nintendo back in the day? Shit like that. That's who they were becoming, and then it's just crazy. So it says, it's rare in life to know when a chapter is closing, but after 38 years of Microsoft, that moment has arrived for me. I've made the decision to retire and begin the next chapter of my life. It's a milestone that's given me a chance to reflect on the incredible journey I've been fortunate enough to share with so many of you. I'm excited for Asha Sharma as she steps into the CEO role. Obviously, he's supposed to say that. She's joining an incredible group of people, teams full of talent, heart, and a deep commitment to the players they serve. Watching her lean in with curiosity and a real desire to strengthen the foundation we've built gives me confidence that our Xbox communities will be well supported in the years ahead. Sounds like a very PR type of quote, something that they wanted him to say just to give players, something to like look forward to. But I don't know, right? I hear AI and I automatically just start thinking negatively about what that means for like the future of Xbox and the future of video games, art. I'm very anti-AI when it comes to this. I don't give a fuck if something's ugly. I'd rather it be ugly than be AI. Hats off to Phil Spencer, man. It was a great fucking run. I think in general, he was at Microsoft for almost like 40 years. Like I think it was like 38 years or some shit. So that's definitely like a big chapter. Sarah Bond, I'm really sad that she's not gonna be the CEO. Just to have a woman of color in that position, especially during Black History Month. Like, what's going on? They probably told her that she wasn't gonna get the position. She probably got up out of there. I feel useless. Fucking crazy. PlayStation, go hire Sarah Bond. Go hire the sis. All right, villains. So moving on to our last piece of news. Let me get this trailer ready in the background. So Nintendo was like, fuck it. Y'all keep violating us, right? Y'all keep making fun of us in our Pokemon comment sections. Let's give the fans something they want finally. You know what I mean? So they went and announced that Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green, very goated remakes of the G1 games, are coming back out for the Switch and the Switch 2. To have them on the Switch and Switch 2 as like standalone releases is kind of wild, because then you start thinking like, damn, does that mean that at some point we might be able to see like a Heart Gold, Soul Silver, Omega Ruby, like, you know what I mean? All the remakes. That would be fucking awesome, because the last 2 generations of Pokemon have not really been that good. Trust me, I'm somebody that I hit master rank on the last Pokemon game that came out. Like I was really in tune with the last generation, and I think from like a design perspective and like a gameplay perspective, there's something that has to change. I don't think it's the 3D that they need to like lean into. Like you look at a game like Octopath Traveler, I would love to see a Pokemon game with that art style, bring it back to its roots and shit like that. I don't think 3D works for Pokemon. I think they keep it sprite based and shit like that, and they go from there. Especially with like all like the advancements of like pixel based video games and shit like that. So me personally, I'm excited to see the return of the games, having them as standalone releases with Pokemon Home connectivity. I think that's gonna be like the way to go. They're not forcing people to hit the subscription service, because I don't really use my Switch anymore, so I wasn't really trying to pay a monthly fee for this one game. So I'll definitely be purchasing the game. We're gonna do a playthrough of either Fire Red. I'm probably gonna do Leaf Green, to be honest. You know me. We'll do that on the channel, twitch.tv/betweenvillains. If you have a chance and y'all want to support us, you could get our merch at villainousventures.com. Link should be in our bio and everything like that, guys. We appreciate y'all. Let us know how y'all feel about Xbox head Phil Spencer retiring, PlayStation closing down Bluepoint Games, and everything like that, guys. And we'll catch y'all next week on the Newscap, man. Peace.